their careers by what they have learned, either firsthand or secondhand, from the great John Wooden. We are underway in the championship of the Wooden Legacy, and the Seton Hall Pirates, with their throwback 1989 P.J. Carlissimo nearly win the national championship jerseys on. Miami wearing the blacks. And the first bucket of the night is made by Sandro Mamukelashvili.
There you go, Doug. I'm proud of you, man. How about that? Sandro Mamukelashvili shooting 11% from three. Pick and pop action comes out and drills it to start the game.
I've never been happier as a broadcaster.
Yeah, we're 1 for 1. Got another 39 minutes to go.
DJ Vasiljevic misfires on his first three-point attempt. Here's Mamukelashvili again, putting it on the deck. Boy, he's making it look easy.
Man, what a start to the game for Sandro Mamukelashvili. Putting it on the deck, hitting a three, and really a guy that's not your traditional center. He can put it on the ground, as we saw there, getting to the rim. Not a great start for Miami here. Seton Hall going to their zone defense. Has zone and man principles. Got to find shooters, though. Cannot let Vasiljevic catch and shoot.
Well, that's what he did. The junior from Melbourne, Australia, has the Canes on the board.
He's shooting 58% at the Wooden Legacy this weekend. Has been tremendous, and the hot hand stays hot.
Yeah, now 8 for 14 here this week. The season average better than 50%. The reigning ACC three-point champ. Great look inside to find the easy dunk by Michael Enzi.
Well, Miami's going to have to tighten their defense up. Mamukelashvili doing a little bit of everything, scoring, facilitating. Michael Enzi wide open for the dunk right there.
3 possessions, 3 buckets for Seton Hall and Mamukelashvili. Here's Zach Johnson, the semifinal hero. Reaching foul, going to go against Miles Kale.
DJ Vasiljevic, as good a shooter as any in the country, and there you see him working against the zone. Nice screen there, Anthony Lawrence. And Vasiljevic so good at setting his feet, letting it fly. Last year led the ACC in three-point shooting, could very well do it again this year. He is that caliber of shooter.
And Robbie, we have really enjoyed this week watching. Izundu lost his sneaker and still made the bucket.
Lost the shoe, but made it look easy. He's got to get back on defense. Seton Hall has numbers. That's an awful shot. 4 on 5. That cannot happen.
Izundu, without one shoe, just ran into Zach Johnson to stop his own team's fast break. And then sets a devastating screen on Miles Powell. Here's Zach Johnson. Gets the floater to go. And now we get the whistle to get the shoe back on the foot.
Why would Izundu not get back on defense?
He wanted to put a shoe on.
I mean, I know, but you got to go stop the basketball. You see it, doesn't have it on there. Nice pass by Anthony Lawrence, and the game is not going to stop for you to put your shoe back on. Keep playing, big fella.
And here is the high-flying Miles Powell, 7th leading scorer in the country at nearly 26 per game, and his first shot attempt is knocked away.
I love that matchup. Zach Johnson, the guy that has the physicality to defend Miles Powell and gets the best of him there. Great hands.
Izundu rattles it home.
Found his shoe and also found the stroke. Izundu, his first three-point shot on the season, and comes out here and drills it.
5 quick points for the senior from Charlotte. Clean look from the corner. Here comes the speedy Chris Likes. Lost the handle for a moment, and now he gets bumped. And we're going to have a foul called against Quincy McKnight.
Chris Likes is an absolute blur, but let's go back to this Ibuka Izundu three-pointer. Steps in, confident. First one of the season, let it fly. And Miami with an answer for Seton Hall's initial run.
Well, how about the man who lost his shoe? He is now 10 for 10 in the Wooden Legacy. 10 for 10 from the floor, 2 for 2 tonight. And he has scored exactly 10 points in each of their first 2 games.
Hasn't missed a shot. How about DJ Vasiljevic? That is what he worked on all summer. Lost some weight, now has the ability to get in the paint, work on that handle. That's a pretty move with the left-hand reverse.
Boy, he is such a better player and a different player than his first couple of years in Coral Gables.
So much tougher to guard when you had that ability to put it on the floor. And Sandro Mamukilishvili is going to leave here as an NBA All-Star if he keeps this up. He is on fire to start the game.
Those 7 points already his season average. Seton Hall back within 3.
Gotten off to a tough start shooting the basketball, but feeling confident here. It's amazing. You see that first one go in, all of a sudden that basket starts looking bigger and bigger, and Mamukilishvili playing with some confidence.
First miss for Izundu, but because he was fouled, he'll head to the line, and that doesn't miss. Back to Florida or back to New Jersey, and for those of you back east who have stayed up late to watch this, thank you so much. And we've got ourselves a good matchup here in this rematch of a couple of old Big East Conference rivals. It's been 15 years, but the Canes used to be in the Big East. Seton Hall still in that Big East Conference.
How about the big guys starting the game off? Izundu, a hot start, and Mamukilishvili for Seton Hall. Both have gotten off to 7-point starts.
Here's Miles Powell still looking for his first point, the 7th leading scorer in the nation.
Good look for Miami to maybe trap ball screens and stay with him, make him give the basketball up. He's been so hot shooting the ball.
Traveling violation against the freshman just into the game, Jared Roden.
He hasn't scored in 3 games. Freshman going through some growing pains. Has a reputation as a scorer. Scored 2,000 points in his high school career. But as we see so often, it just takes some time to get used to the speed and the physicality of the college game.
That was at Our Savior Lutheran High School in the Bronx, New York. He grew up on Long Island in Baldwin. And the Roden turnover gives it back to Miami. 5 minutes in, and we've got a foul off the ball against the Canes, and it is Ibuka Izundu.
He's going to have to be careful. He has battled foul trouble so much of this tournament, and really coming into this game at 9 fouls. You know, you were 1 short of fouling out in both of these contests. So, guy that is an animal on the offensive glass. He can block shots and showed off the range tonight, knocked down a 3. He's really been good. Cannot afford to have him on the bench.
Sam Wardenberg on the floor, the other big for the Canes. Mamukilishvili somehow got it to Roden for the bucket.
Well, Miami did trap Miles Powell right there, and Mamukilishvili scoring and dropping dimes. Fell down there, and ball kind of scored it to a teammate, but going to go as an assist in the scorebook.
Likes held up getting to that pass, and so it's a turnover back to Seton Hall.
Good close out by Sam Wardenberg, not allowing Miles Powell for the rhythm 3.
Once again, it's the freshman Roden with consecutive hoops.
You want more playing time as a freshman. That's a good way to do it. Get yourself on the offensive glass and make a hustle play. Inexcusable for Miami. Got to block the young fella out.
Pirates back within a point. Chris Likes, one of the co-captains, 5'7", into the trees, has the pass deflected out of bounds by Roden. There's 13 on the shot clock. Anthony Lawrence in for Miami, replacing Likes. Mamukilishvili goes out, and we get our first look at the tallest member of the Pirates, Romaro Gill. He is 7 feet 2 inches tall, a junior from Jamaica.
Every bit of it. He is a
tall and
man.
long drink of water, no doubt about it. And Zach Johnson doesn't care. He goes right at him.
But you know what? Zach Johnson did just what you're supposed to do against a shot blocker. Go right to their chest, get contact. Use your physicality to draw a foul, and really a smart play. This is the Zach Johnson I think we expected to see. Slow start to the season, not shooting the basketball maybe as well as he's capable, trying to acclimate himself to a new team. But at Florida Gulf Coast, he was phenomenal. Really a scorer. Got it done at a high level there, and I'm sure that's going to translate to Miami this season.
He scored over 1,300 points in his 3 years at Florida Gulf Coast, got his degree in legal studies, and then transferred back home. He is a Miami native out of Norland High School, coming off a 24-point performance against Fresno State. Anthony Nelson, a freshman guard out of New York City, number 2 into the game. Here's Torian Thompson, the Syracuse transfer. by the Pirates. Lawrence trying to go to work. Shoots for three. Around and out. Thompson clears the rebound.
Great defensive possession there by Seton Hall. Nothing easy. That's Anthony Nelson just making a freshman mistake. Playing in the championship game here of the Wooden Legacy, and maybe some nerves.
Well, Kevin Willard really was complimentary about the way Nelson played on Friday. He came in and settled down the offense against Hawaii and got the Pirates into their pick and roll, had good tempo.
5 assists, really had a nice game.
Vasilovic into the lane with the left hand. Boy, Izundu looks terrific. That's 9 points already.
If you're Romaro Gill, you cannot let him seal you in the paint like that. You got to push him off the block. His percentages go drastically down the farther he gets away from that block. You let him catch it deep, it's going to be a problem.
On the entry pass, a foul against Miami. That was a dangerous pass by Nelson into a double team, and I think they were fortunate to get the foul call. Second team foul against the Canes, first against Lawrence, non-shooting, so the Pirates have it on the baseline. Thompson looking for his own shot, goes right to the rim.
Torian Thompson has such an unorthodox game, and he'll shoot from three. He can drive the basketball. Sam Wardenberg maybe didn't think he was going to make a move, but he's so long and has great size. He can score the ball, averaging 10 a game out here.
I'd be nodding my head too if I was Zach Johnson right now, the co-captain with 7 points. 21-15, Canes by 6. Nelson dump it off. And the throwdown by Gill.
That's more like it from Anthony Nelson, getting yourself into the teeth of the defense and then just dropping it off for the big fella to hammer it home.
I'll tell you what, Robbie, the preseason poll in the Big East Conference said Seton Hall was going to be the number 8 team in that league. They've looked much better than that.
On the floor, it should be an awesome game in terms of talent, the way these teams are playing. IU much improved this season. Going to be a good test for Archie Miller's young team going in to a wild Cameron Indoor Stadium, arena.
Williamson and Langford should be a treat. So for you, a kid from Valparaiso, Indiana, going into Assembly Hall with that sort of talent on the floor, as we get Roden now with 6 quick points. How wide were your eyes to watch the Blue Devils and the Hoosiers?
Just seeing J.J. Redick play in his senior year at the level he did, he was phenomenal. And coming off screens, playing pick and roll, as a jump shoot, I mean, just everything. I want to say he had 31 or 32 and hit just every big shot at the end of the game and really silenced the Assembly Hall crowd. It was a great performance from really a great college and now great NBA player. And
so I always wonder about that. So you're a high school kid growing up in the state of Indiana. You go to an event like that. How do you not get swept up and say, I want to be a Hoosier?
I absolutely did. At the time, Mike Davis is the coach and ends up getting fired. But it's one of those visits that it leaves an impression on you because you're like, whoa, this is next level stuff.
Well, Quincy McKnight, the junior from Bridgeport, Connecticut, off the steal, able to lay it in, and he'll have a chance for 3.
Nothing like getting yourself in the stat book by making a great defensive play and turning that into offense, taking contact there from Chris Likes. And Quincy McKnight maybe hasn't scored the ball at a high level in this tournament, but he has been able to run the team, run offense. 3 assists against Hawaii, and in this tournament, 7 assists and no turnovers.
Pirates on a 7-0 run. Both teams shooting extremely well to start this ball game. Miami at 60%. And Seton Hall at 67%. Powell, long pass ahead. Roden has been quite a revelation off the bench for Seton Hall.
I love the advanced pass there from Miles Powell, putting pressure on the Miami defense. Nothing there. Bring it back out. Run some offense.
Foul's going to go against Deng Gak and Santorian Thompson to the line. Torian Thompson was so good as a true freshman at Syracuse 2 years ago, who made his living right around the free throw line, knocking down jump shots for Jim Boeheim, and scored nearly 10 points per game. Kevin Willard hoping to get that sort of production and then some. And this is first year as a Pirate, no doubt.
Very well could.
Well, our Week 12 Monday Night Football matchup is a big one in the AFC South. The first place Texans have won 7 straight, take on the second-place Titans. 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and available on the ESPN app, so you can watch Monday Night Football anywhere. Zach Johnson. Boy, he can will himself anywhere on the floor.
Put him in pick and roll all night, and you see the ability to hang and still finish around the rim. His great play continues.
Great recovery by Dengak to block the shot by McKnight. Chris Lykes back into the game off the bounce. As I said earlier, not surprisingly, Villanova's the preseason pick in the Big East, followed by Marquette, Providence, and St. John's. But I'm telling you what, in spite of a couple of hiccups early, Seton Hall looks like it's going to be in the mix in the Big East, and especially if a young man like Jared Roden
making his presence felt here. And Doug, I completely agree with you. And how about Miles Powell? He has not had a great start to this game, but he keeps up this type of production. Can you win back-to-back most improved player of the year in the Big East?
Why not? McKnight, another steal. Here is Powell.
Better find him.
On cue, his first three.
You let Miles Powell get out in transition, he will thrive on you. Right there, steps into it, shoots that thing with so much confidence. And again, as we said, the Big East most improved player knocks it down.
Lykes snaps the 13-2 Seton Hall run.
Chris Lykes says, hold on here. Floor general. Obviously does not have the size that a lot of point guards do, but one of the fastest players in all of college basketball.
Thompson gives it up, sets the screen, now slips into the lane. Lawrence right to the basket, and he will head to the free throw line.
Right there, Seton Hall, nobody stopping the basketball and allowing Anthony Lawrence to get to the rim. But how about this offense? You see Jared Roden getting to the basket, great drive. Really difficult to help for a blow-by like that. And then Miles Powell, you got to locate him early. I don't care where he's at. The second he crosses half court, he is now in his range. Breakdown there by Miami and just not realizing where he's at.
There you see that 40-point show he put on Thursday. Not only a career high, it matched James Harden for the all-time single-game record in Wooden Legacy history for a regulation game. And as we said off the top, he's got a chance to catch Harden for the all-time three-game total in Wooden Legacy history.
In that Grand Canyon game, he did it in all ways. He got to the basket, he showed off the pull-up jumper, obviously knocked down three-point shots as he can do. Just a tremendous performance.
He'll remember this week for also reaching the 1,000 career point mark in the game against Hawaii. McKnight to the left hand, up and over the shot blocker.
I think he surprised Dengak with that left hand. Gak, known as a good defender, unable to challenge, and Quincy McKnight has had a couple really nice drives tonight.
Boy, he makes it tough on a defender who is out there on an island.
He will put you in the blender, and that's a very tough matchup for Michael Enzi on the switch. Lykes hitting you with the double cross, but how about Quincy McKnight just going right up over Dengak, and he has really made an impact tonight. 5 early points. Big part of Kevin Willard's offensive attack.
Quincy McKnight had a couple of terrific years at Sacred Heart University in his hometown of Bridgeport, Connecticut. First team all-conference in the NEC, but after that second year where he averaged nearly 19 points per game, he wanted to challenge himself and had the opportunity to move up. And so he did in terms of competition, and he's got a big opportunity with Seton Hall this year. And next year as well. Here he is, number 0 with a basketball.
He's got great size, and to me, he's done a really good job at this tournament just running the team.
Shavar Reynolds just into the game. Off the mark with his first field goal attempt. Lykes front rimmed it. Both teams cooling it off just a little bit. Mamukelashvili blocked by Wardenberg.
Wardenberg using that size, not allowing Mamukelashvili to get to the left hand. what he so wants to do, get to that left jump hook in the post.
Lawrence for the second time able to go right down the lane for 2.
Anthony Lawrence, such a versatile piece of Jim Laranaga's attack. Point guard in high school, played the 4 last year. This year, playing a lot more 3. A Swiss Army knife, can do a little bit of everything.
Offensive foul against Powell, knocking lights out after he handed the ball off to McKnight. But his game.
No, that doesn't look like the same person. And it's amazing how you dedicate yourself to something, whether that's diet, getting in the weight room, working on your game, whatever it is, you can make drastic changes. And honestly, he's a guy that can make a lot of money playing this, whether that's in the NBA or overseas. But props to him for putting the work in, and man, he has become a heck of a player.
He was really under-recruited when you think of the fact that he was rated number 82 in the 2016 ESPN 100. That based purely on the fact that he could score the basketball and can shoot. I mean, he had offers from UConn, VCU, DePaul, Pittsburgh, but he twice broke his left foot in high school and prep school, put on weight, which contributed to some of that. He loved eating things slobbered in cheese, and so his nickname in high school was Cheese. He's cut that out. He loved fast food. He loved candy. And so when he got to campus, Jason Naring, the Seton Hall conditioning coordinator, strength and conditioning guy, took to calling him Butterball in addition to Cheese and said, I'm not calling you by your first name, Miles, until you get yourself under 200 pounds. And while that sounds harsh, it was certainly well received by Miles. And he says in hindsight that the staff, including Jason, were always supportive and never said anything down on me. It's an unbelievable story. You're right. The fact that he went from where he was 2 years ago to now, and that his game elevated last year as a supplemental player for Seton Hall to now being the man. He could easily be a 2-time consecutive year comeback player of the year.
The way he started this season and the way he's played here at the Wooden Legacy, he has been outstanding. We'll see what he can do as we get into conference play, but man, it's a heck of a story.
Preseason second team all Big East. 7th leading scorer in the country right now. Under 6 minutes to go, and Likes with no defensive help. Once he got by Nelson, it was easy.
I love what Chris Likes did right there. Realized he had the freshman on him and then turned the ball screen down. Anthony Nelson expecting a ball screen, and that is elementary. If you're guarding a guy going off a screen on the ball, got to make him use it.
And Nelson got a step on Likes, and on the dish, he lost track of Vasilovic standing there like a brick wall. Ran right through him and picks up the personal foul.
I just feel like DJ Vasilovic is so much more of a complete player this season. We've seen it on the offensive end, but then right there, sacrificing the body. How about that? That's another guy that put in the work and changed his diet.
Yeah.
Really paid off for him as well.
I don't know if the strength and conditioning coach at Miami had any nicknames for Vasilovic, but whatever they've done certainly has worked also.
Quincy McKnight got fouled there. He's had a huge impact on both ends of the floor tonight.
Lawrence, baseline, reverse.
Pretty. He's got great length and great ability. Let him get around the rim, he can really hurt you.
There's the burst of Miles Powell.
Larinaga disgusted. Have to get back. That is not okay for your defense. Got to stop the basketball.
Nice beats the post. Nice looking jump hook from Michael Enzi.
That's a breakdown of the scouting report. You understand as a defender, Michael Enzi wants to go to his right jump hook every time on the block. Anthony Lawrence allowing him to get to it. They already have been sealed in the post. Got to do some work early.
Offensive foul called against Lawrence. No bucket. Nice job to sell it by Quincy McKnight.
Quincy McKnight has been so active on the defensive end and also on the glass. Here he is again. Maybe a little bit of a flop. Not much contact there, but credit him for selling that thing. Yeah, that's definitely a flop.
Yeah. But when you're the littler guy, it's a lot easier to sell it and make it look like the big guy shoved you to the floor.
Welcome to Hollywood, Quincy McKnight. Better have a hand up. Miles Powell pulled that thing right in your face.
Roden lets loose, way off the mark. Torian Thompson rips away the rebound. Roden came storming in to try and get another rebound, but Wardenberg secured it for Miami. Here goes Wardenberg. And a foul is called, but it'll go against Seton Hall. With Robbie Hummel, I'm Doug Sherman. Sam Wardenberg at the free throw line. We've had ourselves a terrific first 16 minutes of this championship game, Robbie.
Both teams get it done from the field. Miami shooting 68%, Seton Hall 57%. It's been interesting though. Seton Hall 28 points in the paint just to Miami's 14. And you think about the bodies that Miami's able to throw at you, especially with the start that Ibuka Izundu got off to. But again, 2 fouls, and he has lived in foul trouble for a lot of this season, a lot of this tournament as well. Guy that Jim Larrañaga just needs on the floor and having a hard time staying out of foul trouble.
Jim Larrañaga also is still without the services of Dewan Hernandez. You might remember last year his name was Dewan Huel. He legally changed it back in October to honor his mom, but he remains ineligible. There's that right-handed jump hook from Enzi.
He's going to the right jump hook, and Dengak able to contest it with his size, but again, you just can't let him get there.
Johnson weaving his way into the lane, and then the foul given to, seriously, keep him from laying it in.
How about that handle? Wow. I mean, he can change directions and so good at doing just that with the crossover dribble. Zach Johnson has been a revelation for Miami here at the Wooden Legacy.
Listed at 6'2", 192 pounds. Well, this is the 20th annual ACC Big Ten Challenge, and Tuesday we'll have 11th ranked Michigan State taking on Louisville, 7:30 Eastern, and then it's the big one. Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, #1 Duke squaring off against Indiana. Cameron Indoor Stadium. Going to be another great night of hoops on ESPN and the ESPN app. The 20th annual ACC Big Ten Challenge.
I love the Big Ten ACC Challenge. I think as a player it was a great event. As a fan it's an awesome event. You get matchups that obviously you don't get to see very often, and really fun. I know as a player, the Big Ten hadn't won a Big Ten ACC Challenge until I believe it was my junior or senior year. And you know, every team in the Big Ten, when we'd see these guys at Media Day or wherever, we'd say, hey, we got to win one of these things. You know, it means something. It's been a great event for a lot of years.
I don't know about you, but watching Seton Hall tonight, I can't help but thinking about John Morton, Andrew Gaze, and Anthony Avent. Those throwback Seton Hall uniforms.
I love the unis. Nothing better than a throwback, and he's as good as any.
That was 30 years ago that P.J. Carlissimo led that crew all the way to Seattle to the Final Four, where they very nearly won the national title, but Ramil Robinson and the Michigan Wolverines wound up cutting down the nets. Seton Hall the takeaway. Powell catch and shoot. Nothing but net.
But give Quincy McKnight so much credit on that play. Saw Miles Powell the whole way. Had him streaking into the wing. That's a great pass. Point guard delivering the basketball right on time.
What do they say? On time and on target?
And it was exactly that. Quincy McKnight has been outstanding tonight. He has really been good.
Wardenberg goes to the rim with bad intentions and lays it in.
He's got that 6'10" frame and the ability to put it on the floor. Known maybe more as a finesse guy, but great take right there.
Roden, nice dump off, and a whistle will send Enzi to the line.
Jared Roden's having a great night as well, really distributing the basketball. Let's go back to that Quincy McKnight pass, though. Right to the shooting pocket, right on time. Miles Powell doesn't need much of it. And then Sam Wardenberg with the answer. 6'10" and all of it. Nice job using that size and getting a layup.
I was just thinking, Robbie, you know, when Miles Powell scored 40 on Thursday, he scored 40 points, but only took 16 shots.
No, the way he did it. That's the most impressive thing. He's averaging 29 points a game for this event, but he's shooting 62% from the field and 53 from three. It's not one of those where I'm getting 40 on 35 shots. He's doing it in a way where it's like, we can really win like this, and he's getting it done on the defensive end of the floor. Fun to watch.
And here's what his coach says, Kevin Willard, as Likes buries the pull-up. He says of Miles Powell, quote, he's got a ton of heart, and he's not going to lose confidence.
That's such an important part of being a shooter. It does not discourage him to see one that doesn't go down. That's pretty offensive.
McKnight shed Likes. We've talked this week about Likes, and at 5'7", he can be overlooked by certain people, but the fact that he uses his size disadvantage as an advantage to be a pest.
Well, he can be a guy that gets so low and uses that leverage so close to the ground. And you're right, pest is the perfect way to describe it. At the same time, that's one fast dude. I mean, he is a blur going down the court.
Wardenberg again. But strong this time. Well, that wasn't a jump hook.
Not a jump hook, but a pretty high percentage shot. And that's just Miami not getting back, not knowing who they're guarding. Championship game like this, those are baskets you can't afford to give up.
Likes. Again.
That dude, man, he can get it going in a hurry. He's got a little bit of everything. He can make threes, he can make pull-ups, plays pick and roll. Chris Likes now, 10 points. Quiet early, but getting it going now.
Long range. In and out.
He's got some serious range there, Doug. That was from downtown.
That was on the tee in Titans, the first tee in Titans. Shot clock, game clock, just about identical, and so Coach Larinaga says, let's hold for one.
They're going to go zone. I like this call. Go zone. Give Chris Likes a little different feel, but better locate Sam Wardenberg in the corner.
5 seconds. Zach Johnson unable to save, and so Seton Hall gets it back with 3 on the clock.
Credit Kevin Willard right there. Saw Chris Likes going to go ISO or pick and roll. That 2-3 zone completely disrupts that. And they get fortunate because Sam Wardenberg misses a good look, but expect Miles Powell right here to burn this thing. They can get it into him.
Mamukelashvili. He started the half high, unable to finish. The expected sources, we've also had other players step up, and the 90 points is the most combined in the first half of a tournament game here at the 2018 Wooden Legacy. And we'll have to keep an eye on Ibuka Izundu, who continues to be brilliant when on the floor for Miami at the offensive end in the tournament, Robbie. He is a perfect 11 for 11, but he was able to only play 9 minutes in the first half because, again, foul trouble. Wave off the basket. They say Michael Enzi's hand went up above the cylinder, and so no bucket.
I'd like to see that again. I thought it was coming off, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
That's off the rim. That's a bad call.
It is.
Michael Enzi continuing his activity in the painted area. And tough break for Seton Hall.
The Pirates 3-2 on the year. They have looked really good in both the quarterfinals and the semis. They beat Hawaii late Friday, 64-54, in a semi that ended somewhere around 1:45 a.m. Eastern time. And we'd like to thank those of you back east from both New Jersey and Florida and up and down the East Coast for staying up late with us. We've got a tremendous close to Feast Week for you. Here is Miles Powell, averaging 26 points per game. Nice dunk ball. That's going to count. And Enzi's going to have a chance for 3.
Miles Kale, 2 fouls, just 4 minutes in the first half, making his presence felt here in the second. Nice dribble drive offense, then Kale getting in the paint. Enzi going up, strong, taking contact, and 1.
And so number 1, senior from Nigeria, able to complete the 3-point play. Looks like a lot better stroke than 8 for 18, which is what he was coming in. steal. That allows Lawrence to get into the lane.
Anthony Lawrence able to take advantage of a bad gamble by Miles Powell, just putting himself out of position. No need to do that. Be solid. Guard your man.
Likes with the steal.
That dude is a blur. I mean, that thing gets so fast down the floor. Chris Likes getting in the passing lanes, getting an easy basket from Miami.
Likes has 12, and I wonder, after the start of the game, that's a terrific spin move. Coach Larinaga took Likes out for just a couple of minutes and let him watch from the sideline, and ever since coming back in, Robbie, as Vasiljevic misses, Likes has been a different player than at the start of the game.
Really settled him, and that's a great job by Quincy McKnight of just looking up the floor. Miles Cale, not his best first half, but certainly been very good here in the second. But credit Quincy McKnight. Said that a lot today. There he is again. So active for Kevin Willard's team.
Miles Powell. Here come the Canes, and here comes Lawrence.
That is a defensive breakdown by Seton Hall. You're in transition. You've gotten a nice steal, but you got to have a safety. Miles Powell takes a deep but a good shot for him. He's made those all tournament, but nobody's back.
3 in double figures already for Miami. Anthony Lawrence with that bucket now has 9. Enzi, quick feet, and the layup.
Just flew by Ibuki Zundu. Zundu, we've talked about it all night. He has lived in foul trouble, not wanting to pick up that third. Has to let him just lay it in.
Turn it back over to the Pirates. Michael Enzi is a 4-time Big East All-Academic person. Earned his economics degree back in May and now working on his MBA. And he's serious about his career. He interned this past summer, Robbie, did Michael Enzi at the financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald in New York City.
Just an impressive student athlete, having a great game tonight. Perfect from the field, 15 points. Been very active for Seton Hall.
He's a career 63% shooter from the floor, and those 15 points now just 4 shy of his career high, which came a couple of years ago against Quinnipiac. Vasiljevic, Likes, and Johnson around the perimeter. There's that blur again. This time, though, unable to finish is Chris Likes.
Forward Chris Likes has to find Anthony Lawrence in the corner, had it wide open.
I thought Zundu may have gotten that one on the way down. Again, Seton Hall has something worth griping about. Vasiljevic off the mark, and he wanted a foul call.
I don't know if he got him on the arm, but credit Sandro Mamukelashvili of getting back in the play. The big fella hustling and altering DJ Vasiljevic's shot.
There's that 0-on-0 battle. McKnight and Likes at the point. Powell off the mark again, and a foul on the rebound.
What an effort by Michael Enzi. I mean, he just wanted that. But I did know that Fullerton made the NCAA tournament last year because they played Purdue in the first round. So I actually watched. I remember watching the game.
Well, Fullerton has been a wonderful host once again this year for the Wooden Legacy, and we thank everybody here on staff so much for that hospitality.
That is a big-time inbounds, out-of-bounds play by Kevin Willard. Just putting Miles Powell in position to have success, running him off a great screen and screening for the screener.
Young man out of Trenton Catholic High School in Trenton, New Jersey. That's in central New Jersey. Has 11 points. Vasiljevic. Boy, he doesn't need much space.
No, he does not. You have to be there on the catch, and you have to have a hand up. But credit Zach Johnson of getting into the paint and getting him a look.
Good hustle by Likes to poke the ball away, and here comes Vasiljevic. Numbers for Miami.
Oh,
no look. Lawrence, count the bucket. And DJ Vasiljevic again doing things that we didn't see years prior.
He is a new player, Doug, and you said it. That's not something that he would never have done last season. How about Likes getting on the floor, taking the basketball from Anthony Nelson? A little no-look action. Woo! Love that.
14:40 remaining in this championship game. Low inside. Michael Enzi is now 16 for 20 this week here in Fullerton. That's 80% or better.
Just shooting 80% on 20 shots. That's pretty good. Michael Enzi continues to excel around the rim. Had himself a great Wooden legacy.
And so that 17 points for Enzi matches his season high, or rather it's a new season high. He had scored 13 against Nebraska, and Michael Enzi's within 2 of his career high sophomore year against Quinnipiac. Well, if somebody's shooting 80%, should you give him the ball more?
Get him some more shots. But you know what? A lot of his success is predicated off of their guards. You know, you have guys like Miles Powell, Quincy McKnight, Miles Cale dumping it off to him and making his life easy. Now he does get to that right jump hook. How about this, Zach Johnson? This is the one that you saw at Florida Gulf Coast that had 37 points in the Atlantic Sun Championship game. He can really score the basketball and now starting to get it going from 3.
He was first team All A-10, or A-Sun rather. There's Likes again being a pest and getting the offensive foul with the discard by freshman Anthony Nelson.
Anthony Nelson getting heated up by Chris Likes on the perimeter. Now back-to-back possessions where Likes has just been in his shorts. See that constant pressure, just a frustration play, and Nelson turns the ball over again.
Anthony Nelson probably thinking, I never faced anybody in the knapsack like that.
Did not see pressure like that.
Out of South Kent Prep School in Connecticut. Nelson's a New York City native.
Keep an eye on this matchup. Jared Roden guarding Zach Johnson. Gets off him on the switch.
McKnight with the assignment. Nice recovery. Mamukelashvili with the block shot. Pirates with the basketball, down 2. Miles Powell tracks down his own miss.
Gotta credit Sandro Mamukelashvili on that play, just keeping the basketball alive. And it's a bad pass from Miles Powell.
Vasilovic.
Lucky. Bad pass, and then you don't get back. You don't find the probably best shooter in the gym. Shoot 53% of the season.
Knight off the jump stop. Nice controlled jumper.
That's the difference between Anthony Nelson, a freshman, and now Quincy McKnight, a guy that's been through the wars and just uses his size, takes his time, puts Chris Likes in the paint, and nice floater.
Zach Johnson, my goodness.
That's an explosive dude right there. Man.
He leaves the perimeter defender in his wake and then attacks the big.
Just the way he utilizes the jump stop, so powerful, so athletic. Zach Johnson has been terrific tonight. You see it right there, 14 points on just 5 shots. Gotten to the line. Really, the last 2 games has just lived in the paint.
Torian Thompson comes in for Seton Hall. Mamukelashvili takes a seat. $16 points for Johnson, 12 for Likes, 11 for Lawrence, 9 for Izundu. Enzi. And the foul will send number 1 back to the free throw line. You can certainly see why Enzi, for his career, is better than a 60% field goal shooter. He gets really good position and goes right to the rim.
Well, yes, he does. And I was just going to say I would get Michael Enzi a post touch to try to get Ibuka Izundu's 4th foul, but you didn't have to do it. Izundu's got to be more intelligent than that. I mean, that's just a bad foul. You sub back into the game really less than a minute ago, and the first defensive possession you have, you commit your 4th foul. Miami needs you on the floor.
And so he is bound back for the bench with Lawrence coming back in. Shavar Reynolds returns for Seton Hall. And Miles Powell goes out.
Without Izundu, Miami's shot blocking presence really goes to almost 0 because Wardenberg's not doing it, and Anthony Lawrence, while long, is only 6'7".
And again, DeJuan Hernandez, one of the 6 co-captains named by Coach Larinaga before the season. still unavailable, still ineligible, back in Coral Gables, and it would be a whole different story if the 6'11" junior were available. Zach Johnson gets the call, blocking foul against Shavar Reynolds. Does Zach Johnson remind you, Robbie, of anybody? I don't have anybody in mind, but
I mean, his body kind of looks like Wesley Matthews.
Okay.
I could see him. He looks. Maybe it's because he kind of looks like him a little bit too. But body standpoint, Wesley Matthews, a guy that's made a lot of money in the NBA. I would say maybe a poor man's Wes Matthews. That's where I'm going.
How about Chris Lights? He reminds you of anybody 5'7", one of the other short guys who's.
I would say he plays. You know, he's a much better shooter. But Lewis Jackson, who played on Purdue teams with me, similar size, both blurs. But you think NBA guys. This guy's a lot taller than Chris Likes, but Ish Smith is Chris Likes is as fast as Ish Smith, and Ish Smith's one of the fastest guys I've ever played against.
Well, that is a new career high for Michael Enzi, 21 points. And again, he's yet to miss a shot from the floor, 8 for 8. Here comes Torian Thompson. And he throws it down.
Torian Thompson plays in slow motion. It is incredible to see. Let everybody fly by and go up there and slam that thing home.
Here's Thompson on the pick and pop. He's looking to go to work on Wardenberg, and he does.
How about that? He is showing us the total package. We've seen a little bit of everything from Torian Thompson tonight, but they're showing the handle, putting it on the floor, getting to the rim.
It looks like we have a good one brewing. Neither team is led by more than 6. That was Miami back in the first half. Seton Hall led by 5. They were tied at halftime. Lawrence with a good look, missed it to the right. Out of bounds, Shavar Reynolds. If he had just let it go, the Pirates would have gotten the ball. We'll take another break at the 10:28 mark. The Pirates up clip. Seton Hall 57%. What do you think for the last 10.5 minutes is going to ultimately be the difference in who wins this one?
I think you go to the star power. I think you look at guys like Chris Likes, Zach Johnson for Miami, and then for Seton Hall, have to think Miles Powell, who's been relatively quiet by his standards. Just 11 points. Have to think he'll take this Seton Hall team home. Ibuki Zundu back in the game with 4 fouls. Jim Larrañaga really trusting his big man.
Tough shot by Anthony Lawrence. He's got 13.
Well, I just love the way Jim Larrañaga puts him in actions where he can curl the screen, use his size, get to the rim, and make plays.
Well, Seton Hall, thanks to this man, has dominated the paint points so far tonight. He kicks it back out to Powell, who puts it up well short. Lawrence on the move, 1-on-2, off the window, no. Dengak tips it in.
How about Dengak, really known more for his defense, but keeping the basketball alive, and nice tip in there by the big fella.
Well, Miami in the zone, and that's a big front line with Gak, Izundu, and Lawrence. Good length. Powell gets it to Thompson, and he's denied by Anthony Lawrence.
That's one where Torian Thompson needs to kick that thing out. You've got 3 Miami defenders all at you. Man, Zach Johnson playing so well for the Hurricanes.
Robbie, every time Zach Johnson rises up, 9 minutes. Coach Larrañaga's club, a perfect 5-0 on the year. They beat LaSalle on Thursday, blew them out in the quarters, then beat Fresno State in a thrilling semifinal game. Ball saved by McKnight, 6 to shoot. to the bucket for 2.
Well, that is stealing a possession, because that thing was going nowhere. And credit Quincy McKnight for going and making a great play at half court and then just going right to the rim knowing the shot clock was going down.
You know, Robbie, we're not looking for Quincy McKnight to score a ton of points necessarily for Seton Hall, but remember, he had a career-high 44 points as a sophomore when he was playing for Sacred Heart before the transfer.
He has done a great job tonight of doing just a little bit of everything. He's found his bigs, he's scored. Let's see if he can knock down a 3.
On cue, the junior out of St. Joseph High School in Trumbull, Connecticut. He's got 14.
But when that Miami defense goes zone and you get the basketball in the middle, good things gonna happen. And Quincy McKnight playing with so much confidence, knocking down the 3.
High-low, big to big. Nice feed by Gak, and that'll send Izundu to the line.
Quincy McKnight is having himself a heck of a...
From both sides, from different sources. Quincy McKnight having a big second half of the Pirates. He's up to 14 points to match his season high.
There's a lot of guys that actually, Doug, are having great games. I mean, this has been a fun one to watch. This guy at the line, when he's been on the floor, has been so productive for Miami. On the Seton Hall side of things, Michael Enzi still hasn't missed a field goal tonight. Quincy McKnight having a great game, and honestly, I think when Kevin Willard goes back and watches the tape, he's going to say, man, Jared Roden has played a great game for the freshman. Really active, good defensively.
Miami's done a good job on Powell, making it tough for him. Here he is from the corner, able to free himself from Zach Johnson running the baseline.
Yes, he did. Seton Hall will run plays where Miles Powell just runs the baseline. Zach Johnson, maybe a little fatigued, tries to go around, cut the screen, and you give that man that kind of look, he's going to knock it down.
Lawrence, air ball. Izundu hit the bottom of the backboard, but once again, it's Gak.
And Gak, not a guy you think of for offense, but you know, this is why Ibuka Izundu needs to be on the floor. He's keeping basketballs alive, and then Gak get there to clean up Izundu's mess.
Likes called for the foul.
Miles Powell going to run the baseline. You see him at the bottom of the screen, and Zach Johnson gets just a little lazy. He tries to cut that thing, and you do that with a shooter like Powell, you're going to find yourself in trouble. I'd expect to see that running the baseline play again. That's good action for Miles Powell.
Mamukelashvili on the drive like we saw early in the game. Give the 6'10" sophomore from Georgia 9 points. Gak. And it's McKnight who has the basketball. Quickly up ahead, Powell. Hanging in the air, up and over Gak, and he'll have a chance for 3.
But again, Quincy McKnight looking up the floor, putting pressure on Miami's defense. And Miles Powell starting to wake up here. Now at 16, look at the athleticism, able to go up through Gak's chest. Just a strong take from the 6'2", 195-pound guard.
Who was 6'2", 240 pounds.
That transformation is incredible.
A couple of years ago. And you know, for Seton Hall's Kevin Willard, sure looks like they have been able to turn the page from a tremendous senior class that graduated having scored a combined 5,000 points, led this program to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. But Angel Delgado, Desi Rodriguez, Ismail Sonogo, and Kadeen Carrington, 3 of them are now in the G League. 1 is overseas. It doesn't look like Seton Hall is going to take a huge step back this year.
You lose 63% of your scoring, rebounding, and assists. And you put a product like this on the floor. You have to credit Kevin Willard for recruiting at a high level and coaching this group up.
Including Jared Roden off the takeaway. Likes has Lawrence, who goes up and dunks it.
That is now the second time that we've seen Seton Hall get burned without having a safety. And you force a turnover, have an opportunity to score, and again, a 4-point swing. Those are mistakes you just cannot have late in games.
Vasiljevic running the baseline, trying to keep up with Miles Powell. Threw a series of screens, got a decent look, but couldn't hit.
And you have to credit DJ Vasiljevic because that's just a freelance play for Miles Powell to really do whatever he wants. He can run the baseline as many times, and Vasiljevic locked in the back of his jersey and stayed right there with him.
Big possession for the Canes. Lawrence to the reverse. Cuts it back to a three-point game.
I like Anthony Lawrence being aggressive against Jared Roden. Freshman having a hard time staying with them. Anthony Lawrence in attack mode is a good thing for the Miami Hurricanes.
McKnight able to finish.
This is back and forth, and if you love offensive basketball, this game is for you. There is scoring, shooting, a little bit of everything.
Light leaves his feet. Here's Lawrence from the corner. Gap fighting for the ball. Powell got on the floor, tied up by Likes, and the possession arrow goes the other way. That man has 17 points tonight, 76 for the tournament, and that is 4th all-time in Wooden Legacy history and climbing.
Still 427 to add to that number. You look at Seton Hall, they have 56 points in the paint. It's an incredible number. Miami doing damage there. They have 34, so it's not like they haven't been effective there either.
And a cleanly played second half as well. As you see, only 5 fouls called on Miami, 7 against Seton Hall. Shot clock continues to wind down. The rim was not hit. Under 10 to shoot. McKnight.
Great pass.
Enzai doesn't recognize. Look at the fight. Both ways for that ball. Lawrence is going to be called for the charge. Powell gave up his body again to force the charge. And we have 3:46 remaining in what has been a classic in the making between Miami and Seton Hall for the Wooden Legacy Championship. McKnight and Powell in the backcourt. The missed dunk by Mamoukelashvili gives it back to Miami.
Just a missed opportunity. Really, really good execution out of the timeout.
So instead of going up 7, Seton Hall's lead is trimmed to 2.
I love what Chris Likes brings to the table, and that's a lot of heart right there. Taking the pick and roll defense, goes under, and he burns it from 3.
18 points for Likes. Here's Powell, takes the contact, no call. They say both defenders went straight up.
I thought Ibuki Izunu did a fabulous job there of keeping those arms vertical. Big fellow with 4 fouls, cannot afford to have him off the floor.
Wardenberg's pass knocked away by Powell. Now Wardenberg goes into the paint out of control. Miami fortunate to keep this possession alive with 6 to shoot. Zach Johnson. And again the ball comes free. 3 to shoot. Vasiljevic a little bit short, and Wardenberg is down and hurt. And Sam Wardenberg, did you get an elbow? And he says yes, and so now that will convince the official. And it's Seton Hall basketball. Pirates get the ball up 2 with under 2.5 to play.
Well, if I'm Seton Hall, I would move Miles Powell off the basketball and let him run free on the baseline and make a play.
Here's Powell out front, working on Zach Johnson. His step back 3 is an air ball.
That is not a good offensive possession for Seton Hall. End up taking a contested 3, step back jumper from Miles Powell with 10 on the shot clock. They've had some success moving him off the ball.
And now the Pirates from South Orange, New Jersey need a stop or they'll surrender the lead. Likes loses his footing, goes down, still has possession, and then we get the timeout from Vasiljevic to keep possession. Chris Likes told me earlier this week it's just his second ever trip to the state of California. He was looking forward to his first ever trip to Disney, and he would love to head back to Coral Gables with a championship. Under 2 minutes remaining.
There goes Zach Johnson, pick and roll. Let your senior go out here and make a play.
Lawrence to the basket. A lot of contact, and we've got an offensive foul.
And that's one that Anthony Lawrence has to shoot. Zach Johnson has set you up perfectly. You're open. You're having a nice night. Really has played well. I know he hasn't shot the ball from 3 well, but you're open. Shot clock's winding down. That's got to be one you get up.
Gives it back to McKnight.
Watch Miles Powell off the basketball here. Going to be screening action on the baseline for him.
Powell, Mamoukelashvili met at the rim by Ibundu.
Ibundu says, not today.
Seton Hall gets it back up too.
Oh, wow.
Foul on Likes.
Chris Likes in position, and I'm not sure what Chris Likes did to get that foul.
Was he straddling the leg?
I guess you could say in the cylinder rule could come into effect, but he did take a forearm to the neck there.
So now Quincy McKnight, 72% on the year coming in. You see he has made his only other free throw attempt, and that one rattles out. Izundu comes up to set the screen for Johnson. To the corner. This time Lawrence just fires away. Foul on the rebound. It's going to go against Miles Cale of Seton Hall.
Sandro Mamoukelashvili almost tipped that in for Seton Hall. We're going to see, you see Miles Cale right there grabbing Izundu. That's definitely a foul.
My goodness. That's not trying to mask it or hide it at all. Ibuka Izundu. Will get another opportunity to try and tie the ball game once again. Grew up in Nigeria playing soccer, cannot tie it.
After Miami, got to get back, don't have to foul. Got to rely on your defense, have to be solid, rely on your principles. And if you're Zach Johnson, you have to lock into Miles Powell. Make somebody else beat you.
There goes Powell, working on Johnson, lost it. Looked like Likes was the last to touch. But they say it's Miami basketball.
It was just a Miles Powell ISO, and pretty good job by Zach Johnson staying down, and Miles Powell just loses that ball.
Yeah, good call. Likes never touched it. And so, if you are Miami, Robbie, where are you going here?
Well, we've seen it the last 2 games now. Miami coming down to the wire. I think it's Zach Johnson. I think we've seen so much pick and roll. Miami, a team that loves to run pick and roll. I think it's just going to be Zach Johnson screen and roll with Izundu and make a play.
Well, he won the semifinal with a dunk, trying to win the championship here with a pass to Lawrence. The tip up, no good. Seton Hall's got it.
How about Miles Cale just going out and making a play? And Seton Hall ran 2 guys at Zach Johnson to try to get him to give up the basketball. And honestly, he gets a great look for Anthony Lawrence. And then Izundu's tipping, another good look. You get 2 great looks on the final possession. And just neither of them go. But honestly, I know Anthony Lawrence has not shot the ball great this year. Only 33% from the three-point line, and tonight has not been his night, but he gets a tremendous look.
As you see, Cale has struggled from the line. It's a 1-and-1. Looks good on the first.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him miss this because you can't put it away. You can't go up 4. 0.7 seconds. I'd miss this and, yep, go home.
And that is indeed what they do.